1 minute later than usual. I see already I have greetings from Digital IX in Cologne. Hallo Volker, schön dich hier zu haben. Dankeschön. We have today with us here Mr. Rodrigo Beyer Fernandez from the company Frogs Industries. And Rodrigo is the CEO of Frogs Industries, and they have a fantastic product, which I know very good personally. It's visual assistance. Rodrigo, tell us, why is visual assistance so revolutionary in what you are doing?
Well, thank you very much, Alex, for having me here. Thank you for having this incredible audience also. So visual assistance actually what is the next gig in terms of remote support. So whenever you have an issue and you think about how to get in contact with customer support or to more technical, let's say, type of support. So always think about how can I explain, how can I describe the situation that I have in order to get that sorted out. So visual assistant is going to give you the visualization of the problem, and someone else is going to help you. So basically, the imminent question is not about describe what you're seeing, but show me what you're seeing. I'm going to help you, guide you actually solving that problem.
The point, when I first saw visual assistants, that was over a year and a half ago, what fascinated me was the easiness of the solution, and the fact that somebody that is not so technical, so computer literate, could very easily get information, get support, and explain to a third party what exactly the problem is, and also get the support in an easy way so that he can solve the solutions, the problems that he had. So I refer to an example of the old lady that calls to the customer support of appliance that she has at home, or the refrigerator or the washing machine, and she cannot explain exactly what the problem is. And when she receives the audio information, the support through the telephone of what she needs to do, she hardly can understand what she needs to do. While with your solution, Rodrigo, with visual assistance, all she has to do is to hold her mobile in front of the wash machine or the refrigerator, and the customer support is going to show her through this amazing technology, through, I think it's augmented reality, through arrows and through annotations, where she has to press, what she needs to do, and solve the problem before it is even created. Save the money of sending people uh, there to fix a problem, which most of the times is going to be a very easy problem to fix if the right tools were there to assist this lady.
Absolutely, totally right. And I think it's a very good example as well, Alex. It's not about only old ladies, but it's about how to simplify actually very complex situations. I think we have a model which is, simplicity. So there's a platform behind of that which is very complex. So just imagine, all the connectivity capability that we have to put in place, but also the capacity, the video streaming at the same time, the audio streaming, and also the data which is, going through the pod. So it's very complex, but that complexity is not visual. It's not apparent actually for the people utilizing this. Like you said before, old ladies capable actually to see where the problem is and to identify together with someone else who is being probably thousands of miles away and having a guidance. This is the simplicity. So everything is reduced to one button and two clicks. One
Yes.
click where you get actually the access, and the other click just to say and to navigate through and to see what's going to happen. So the magic happens after the second click. And typically we say, whenever you have got that experience and you have seen, how to deal with complex situation, but at the same time you're being guided, you're being shadowed, how to accomplish actually that solution. So you fall in love with that because it's very personal driven. So we unite the technology with the person in front of it. So we don't leave the technology actually to take the hands over of it, but we
Yes.
unite that. And that is the belief that we have behind of that. And it's a great momentum around this. Yes.
Yes, and yes, the old lady was, let's say, a starting example, because I know that we also offer visual assistance in a more complex form by applying that to Google's that technicians where, when they have to fix a very complex physical issue that has been occurred in a complex technical device, and without holding a mobile phone but by wearing these goggles, they transmit practically what they see to the headquarters, to the support, where they guide them exactly on what they have to do if they don't feel confident to proceed with some actions that they need to do from their part. It's amazing. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I do agree. And what is important about this is that there's no entry barrier. So you mentioned the old lady was holding actually a smartphone, but it
Yes,
can be anything with a device display and at least one camera. So, and
yes,
when I say anything, it's literally anything. It can be a tablet, can be, even a car with a display and a camera, can be a laptop, can be a desktop, anything. And typically, uh, you know, 95% of the people, they always have at least a smartphone with in the pocket or something like that, so we can go with this. Nevertheless, for more complex situations where you require hands-free work, so you also can use smart glasses, and that's compatible actually with the solution. So no entry barrier for connectivity types, all types of connectivity. So if it's internet gateway through Wi-Fi, or if there's a private network, or if you're using a network which is 4G, 5G, even 3G is working. So depending on the speed of the data pipe, and also satellite, which is important because sometimes you have a situation where you probably, the old lady is probably on a MSC, shipping in a cruise ship, and she wants actually to get some support about something had room. So that's possible to be using, maritime satellite, but also the global star and the likes, so satellite offshore.
but all these things that you say, Rodrigo, one question that comes in my mind is that, is visual assistance, so all this information that is going to be shared through this channel, is that secure and private?
Yeah, absolutely. So security is for us one of the most important things. First of all, whenever there is a pipe established, so the pipe, so we are monitoring actually the traffic, but we are not monitoring the individual information in there. So if you're having a session, like we would be having a session between the two of us, the system can identify there is a traffic, but there is no individual information. Mostly, we are also compliant with GDPR, which is very important. So especially in Europe, I think it's one of the differentiators for competitors coming outside of Europe, that we are totally compliant with the global data regulation
Yes,
policies.
yes.
And the platform itself is also containerized. So the infrastructure is totally compliant also with the standards and certification of data privacy. So no issue at all. Everything's encrypted, and there is no leak so far. So we never know, but there's no leak so far about any individual information.
And I think, Rodrigo, I mean, since I know you, I mean, Frogs Industries is a company that has offices in Germany, in Berlin. And I think if there is one country in Europe where the security and uh, privacy are more respected, than that is Germany, right? So I think that should be an additional, let's say, obvious guarantee to somebody of if a company wants to use the service. So if a company has visual assistants, uh, can they schedule sessions in advance? Is that something that it can be programmed? It can be put like work together with the um, customer support apparatus of a company can be
Yeah.
organized, scheduled.
I think it's a very good question, Alex. To be quite honest with you, so there are several workflows that are very useful. The workflow of just to go back to the very good example of the old lady. So she
Yes,
has got some problem, and there was deliberate, and the problem is right now, and she's facing an issue right now. So she's calling up actually customer support, and immediately she gets the support. But just in case that lady, for example, she knows exactly in 2 days' time, some technician is going to come to inspect her heating system, right? Now, for that specific situation, the inspector doesn't need physically actually to be there, but she can schedule according
yes,
to her convenience where she's going to be at home and where she's going to go to the service area of her house actually to let the inspector inspect the heating system. So it's a quite convenient and useful capability, which is not obvious. Most of the time, whenever the nowadays, so whenever you call customer support, so you're going to schedule an appointment, which is playing like 2 weeks from now. But
yes, yes.
here's the other way around. So you schedule accordingly to your convenience and according to your availability. So that is the big difference to serviceability of the solution, right?
I remember when we started collaborating, the example of the router, because I think routers are the typical example that everybody of us has an experience at home. So, and what happens is when you communicate, because I had that often through the last 20 years, problems with the provider and the router. And what happened is I contacted them. That was a process that took weeks for them to come. And at the end, they came and it was a very simple thing to do, or they came, they saw the problem was another one that they anticipated, they had to return and come back. So all these problems can practically be solved within within minutes practically, because you can show to the customer support exactly what is your problem with the router. They can advise you how to solve the problem. They can literally show you on your screen what you need to do in order to solve the issue that you have. Or what is also maybe even more important, they can identify what's wrong, so that when they send the technician at your house, he can come with the proper equipment, and he's going to know what needs to be done in order for the problem to be solved. So a tremendous amount of, of cost, of energy, of customer experience, can all these things can be solved with uh, our solution with visual assistants. It's incredible.
Yeah, I do agree. I think we translate that into efficiency. So we are addressing actually the bottom line first. You mentioned that. So cost, so the cost side of it, but also the relevance. So time is money, right? So if there are technicians and they are actually roaming around and having, I don't know, 5 appointments a day, so if there is a technician who is taking care of this visual assistance, let's say based type of technical support, probably going to be much more efficient without leaving actually the office. So there's some collaterals here, like side effects, like you're reducing the emission, you are getting more efficient in terms of cost avoidance, so you're avoiding costs, and you're increasing actually the customer experience,
Yes.
which the stickiness to the customer and the satisfaction will be higher. So we have done a study, and you probably have heard about that, Alex, that 65% of any initiated issue can be resolved through the first attempt of the solution. Opposed to today, there are statistics that says 20% of any first initial call is actually being resolved at the first time. So there is a huge increase of efficiency, but especially, customer satisfaction. So whenever I have someone solving the problem that I'm not able to, I'm very happy, right? And that is what's happening. So visual assistant is capable actually to foster this type of, let's say, approach.
And these numbers are, I mean, are insane numbers, amazing numbers. If you imagine, I mean, what is 20% for a big corporation that has hundreds or thousands of issues on a weekly basis? We are talking about hundreds of customers and maybe thousands of euros of revenue that is going to stay in the company instead of going to sending technicians to just have a look and return back in the base to adjust. It's a question that I'm receiving, Rodrigo, from many clients, and is a question that they say, why should I use visual assistants and don't use a more simplified solution, such as like a video stream or whatever is available on the market? What is that it makes it so different?
Well, first of all, I think visual assistance is very simple to use. It's not simple in terms of infrastructure, like I said before. So it's a complexity. So we simplified even more than video streaming solution, then and having a complexity on our side. First of all, with visual assistance, you have tools embedded which are not available in video streaming. First of all, so you have augmented reality. So the visual assistance has a tool embedded which can recognize actually object characters and provide to you the right set of information based on that character. Just imagine, I don't know, you are offshore and you have an antenna that you need actually to identify. And there is a QR code or a very specific object characteristics. We cannot understand, we cannot see that the differences, but the system can identify that specific antenna and actually correlate with your inventory management and to pick out exactly the antenna in the handbook to that specific antenna, right? So there are even things that the machines, they're better than us, right? So our eyes, they are restricted. So the machines are going to help us actually to become the cyborg of tomorrow. So to be a better human being by the support of technology. The other thing is there are tools that are, for example, meant for the human beings. For example, annotations, drawings.
Yes.
You have arrows. So whenever you are being guided, you're visually being guided as much as you want and it's needed. If you are in a noisy environment, you cannot hear, you cannot listen to the person talking to you, but you can see what I should do. All right. So that guidance you don't see in video streaming. So it's not possible. So it's I would say it's a revolution,
Yes.
or an evolution to the video
Yes,
streaming.
absolutely.
And the other thing is,
Yes.
as a company, you probably want to keep track
Of course.
on documentation, right? So there is an embedded ticket system that you can use, or you can, just switch on or switch off whenever. But that's very useful as well. A ticketing system typically is very, very expensive if you go for, a ticketing system provider. In the visual assistant, it's part of the product. It's part of the solution that you have a ticketing system with that ticketing system, so you can track historically what you have done with that specific customer before. So is that something that you have solved before? Is there was any learning that you can actually apply? Or if someone is calling you for the second time, you can tell that person, look, we have done this. Now let's have a check on this. There are also forms that you can use. Just imagine, a doctor is prescribing someone certain drug and medicine. So they know exactly what is in the file, and they can recall it by proving this is what we have done on this specific date. So it's a lot of things which is not comparable to any video streaming, but it's more comparable to a document management, to an inventory management system, to a ticketing system, and everything in one, right?
Yes. What amazes me in the technology is what you said before, that it's so complex, but it's at the same time so easy as a user to use it. It's something that you just log in and automatically you know exactly what you have to do. Although there is such a big uh, infrastructure behind it that is complex and can be plugged in different operations of a smaller or a bigger corporation. But let me ask you a final question, Rodrigo. So what happens, let's say we have a session, we have a critical session, and there in some point of this session, our connection breaks. I don't know, electricity goes down, internet goes down. What happens in this case? Is everything lost?
Yeah, so it's a very good question, because sometimes we have the situation that someone, just imagine fleet management, right? So someone is in a truck and is requesting actually some support for a specific guidance, and this is what we call network handover. So from one cell to the other, sometimes it could happen that you lose connectivity. So the good news about this is the session will be always established as long as you did not switch off. So even if the connectivity is gone, the session will wait for you until you reconnect to that. So your link is for you only. No one else is going actually to use that link. And whenever you come back with a new connectivity type, and can be any of those connectivity that we have talked about. So it could be that you're using Wi-Fi connection, all of a sudden, because of the shutdown of electricity, you have to switch to the network. It's not a problem. So the session will be waiting for you just to come back as long as you need. So no one is going to switch that off.
And finally, I want to ask you, Rodrigo, which companies are the ideal clients to use this technology and this service? What are to which companies is focused Visual Assistant?
Yeah, so it's a very good question, because basically any company having customer support or field operations would be ideal for this type of service. I think our creativity can be very large in this, because you mentioned before having the old lady with the wash machine, for example. So then we were talking about home appliance, but just extend that to consumer electronics, to any company segment that would have the customer support in place. However, there are governmental authorities. So the other day, we had a request from visa application authorities that they want to guide the people actually to fill in the forms of the visa application in order to avoid error and reduce actually the number of wrong filled forms, right? So you see, there's very, very large. What we say is there are three main industries that we do target actively. One is the IT infrastructure industry, because it's a high demand, and sometimes they have red zones where people are not allowed actually to go into, for example, data centers or to critical infrastructure like IT infrastructure to larger corporations. So And typically they are the telecoms and the subcontractors of the
Yes.
telecoms. The second industry, what we call, is the mobility industry. So it's aviation, rental cars. Whenever you have the experience of, picking up a car and to have a very thorough inspection, everything documented without ambiguities when you return the car. So it's very useful because everything is documented and no one is going to tell you this scratch was not there. It was there or
That's
was
amazing.
not there.
And
Right?
I
So
never
it's
thought
everything
about that, but
documented.
that's amazing because every time that I go to rent a car, before I jump in, I take pictures to have them, which, of course, I don't know if they are of any proof or any legal authority, but that's what I do. So incredible, yes.
And you should
Yeah,
right. And then of course utilities and home appliance, like you said before. So these are the industries that we're targeting. Utilities, especially because of technicians visiting, like the router, right?
yeah,
Small medium enterprise that they need actually to have a first installation, IoT devices that they need a first installation, and it has to be guided, it has to be audited, inspected, actually, to avoid errors, to avoid mistakes in the future, and a malfunction of the devices. So we do recommend, so it's very good actually if you have someone to shadow you for the first installation, because then later on it will be very
yes,
smooth,
yes.
right? Yes.
If somebody wants to contact you, Fernando, Rodrigo, where can he contact you? How can he come in touch with you?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you very much. In the banner, so you can see there's
Yes,
my email address, so you can contact me through the email address. If you go to the domain froxindustries.com, so there's a contact form that you can contact us, or simply, drop a message over social media. We are present in Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. So drop a message, and we are more than happy actually to take you and navigate through a demo, or
exactly.
even providing you a free trial, so just to try
Exactly.
that out for free, and come back to us. So we'll be very happy about it.
That's what I would advise everybody that has interest to get to know visual assistants is to get in contact with you and have a demo to see in reality in his mobile application how this technology works, because it's regardless what your expectations are, regardless of if you want to apply that in your business or not, it's amazing to see what this technology can do. It's fantastic.
Indeed.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you for being with us here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, and hopefully, so we can, change the world for a better place, and unite the technology with the human beings, and not eradicate both of them, but make sure that we are better tomorrow with the technology that we have at
That's
hand.
a technology that certainly I think makes a small leap towards a better world. It's amazing technology. I was impressed when I first saw that, and the value that it adds is immense value, and the money that the company can save through this technology is incredible. It's an amazing technology.
Thank you,
Thank
Alex,
you.
and thank you everyone watching us.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you, everybody.